Right, as the title of this live stream says, a message for Darren, Stuart, Webb. Okay, so he didn't like what my partner didn't like me. That's the name of my partner. So he doesn't want me. He said, if you're going to refer to me as my partner, why don't you speak like it? Well, you know what? I won't call you my partner anymore because you don't behave like one. And this is why this is a message to you. So instead of people attacking me, now you know his name on Facebook. He blocked me on Facebook. No surprise there. In the same way that he, like a loving partner, left me to sleep rough, had me arrested for disagreeing. Hope you're watching, Darren. So Darren, because people know your name anyway, I'm not gonna, you even made it so that I can't leave voice messages for you. So yeah, you can leave voice messages for me, but not respond to my text messages about me being attacked. In the same way that you can watch me being attacked in my council accommodation, but not ring me up and say, are you okay, Bryony? No, because the night that Sherelle Clark, and I tell you what, if you're going to use Juliet to abuse me, Juliet, a member of the public who was attacked in the street for trying to help me, who's going through cancer treatment, if you can use her to abuse me, in the same way that you did with my late mother, and you've never even met my late mother. And my godmother said, the only reason why he's with you is to use you. Why would any man be with you unless it's to use you? Yes, okay. She said life's a bitch and she hung up on me and she was horrible. But she isn't exactly wrong, is she, my godmother? So why don't you man up? Because you don't like me mocking you over having a headache. What is wrong with you? If you're a man, be a man. I've stood up for you. I like you. I like the sweet gentleness. I like the boyishness. I don't like this narcissistic, nasty, sociopathic. No, I've got it from these nutcases. And you know what? Dan from Police Abusing Powers said to me before he turned funny, along with Tina Che from the Independent Advice Network, whom you answered the phone to, who she said that I shouldn't be in these places for my safety. And she was going to offer me all this legal help with her 40 years of experience. Even Dan said, if he really cared about you, because they all say it, why would he would have let you stay in his flat? OCD is no excuse. No, because I've got OCD traits, which you know about. I made you feel at home in the hotels that I spent thousands of pounds of severe disability back pay on, and you wouldn't let me touch my shopping bags. No. I'll deal with it. I'll. And people are like, no, that's not OCD. That's controlling behaviour. But every time I've stood up for you, even when Juliet said, she was the one who said to me, it's not normal, it's not right that he's keeping the keys from you. Yet you almost made it sound like you're trying to gaslight me with Juliet, because you're saying, don't make a live stream. Oh, you base everything. You're starting to sound like Dan from Police Abusing Powers. You're just taking the bits you want to take. 1 minute affirming me, next going the other way. So like with Dan, who said, oh, he should be allowed to, he should let you stay in his flat as a place of safety. He's then saying, why do you need Darren to affirm you? Why do you need? And then Tina Che sounded like a clone of Dan. Why do you need that? Oh, you affirming? You don't need someone to affirm you. Well, you tell you what, you're playing the same game, Darren. Because you're saying, why are you going to Juliet to affirm you? Because she's all I've got. She was attacked in the street by random drunks trying to help me. So don't you use her as in a sick game. You weren't there for me. You saw the live stream of me, evidence of licensee attacking me. You did nothing. And when Sherelle Clark, and for all my viewers watching, Sherelle Clark, I'll say it again because Darren didn't exactly ring me up to say, oh, isn't that terrible, Bryony? Sherelle Clark, I've seen your live stream. She was mentioned as having, with her mother, mugged the elderly. How terrible. No, you didn't do that, did you, Darren? Darren, ex-partner. Is that what you want me to call you? Because, I mean, what are you? What are you? Your mum said you were sent to me. Sent to me from where? I mean, crumbs. I hadn't seen that, what's the name, from New Haven since I was 12, who was saying, oh, your sisters are CUNTs. My mum was at your sister's wedding. I haven't seen my estranged sisters for years, but even she said, what your mum said was, oh, my son was sent to you. You've got a guilty conscience, Darren Webb. Darren Stuart Webb. Tell you what, trolls, don't attack me anymore. Go to his Facebook page, because you've spleened all this information from me, some of it illegally. Yeah, thanks. And you got me praying and in tears. What for? What for? Why should I be in tears reacting? Why should I be crying over my reaction to your abuse of me? Because there's something I don't want to say on YouTube. And let's forget about the Bible, forget about what scripture says. I don't want to say it on YouTube or in public. But what the hell? I've said everything else. I might as well say it. Because, I mean, I could be dead. The number of times I've attempted suicide, I might have a physical disability because I wouldn't be able to use my left hand. You didn't even feel bad that Juliet said you shouldn't be making me feel bad, or the way that you said it, when I did actually feel bad about you having not being able to move your fingers. It made me cry. I lashed out at you and not these thugs that have assaulted and attacked me. I lashed out at you because I don't care about those idiots. They want a reaction. But you weren't there for me. You had me arrested for disagreeing with you in your flat. Disagreeing with you. We very nearly didn't make it as friends. Because, I tell you what, I'm going to text Charlie, your friend Charlie, Darren. Because you seem to you're not happy that I've got Juliet now. That's why you've left me those voice messages. Oh, and don't make a live stream. I am going to make a live stream. It's all coming out now. I've titled this. This is the first time I've put your name on my YouTube channel. And you know what? Juliet was the one who said, I've watched one of your live streams. I know Charlie. Charlie, your friend Charlie. This is how small this town is. She's from up north, but she knows your friend. Your friend Charlie bullied me at the Eastbourne People's Assembly when that pervert, that elderly man, red-faced, oh, what's this you fancy, Charlie? Where were you then? You're not a boy. You're not a little boy. Your mother worries about you. You're 53. You're a lot older than me. You've let me take the humiliation. I've been dragged around in handcuffs. You don't even feel bad about that. Nah. You tried to convince yourself that because I'm a strong woman. Well, it's funny that, isn't it? I wonder who else said that. How many times have I said it over and over again? People like Tina Che from the Independent Advice Network. You're strong, offering me all that help, but not actually doing anything and threatening me. I might be extremely vulnerable, but I don't like to be pissed around by anyone. I said to Leslie from the food bank that a few years ago that I could burn your Bible, Darren. She said she was praying for us. And she just went, oh. She said, I don't think you should see Darren anymore. No. And I burst into tears. She said, Ray and I thought he was abusing you. So come on, why don't you come on my channel? Come on, what have you got to hide, Darren? Because Juliet couldn't understand when I told her that you were running away from me when you know that me being neglected is my biggest fear. You know that this is a prison sentence of up to 5 years in prison. Predatory behaviour. I've put all my trust in you because you gave me the impression that you are the sweetest, most gentle person with your Hebrew Aramaic scriptures and the name of Yahweh. You brought me to that name, and that could be the name that finishes me off. You sweet boy with your Hebrew Aramaic scriptures, and your mum saying, you were sent to me, and your dad saying you haven't got a bad bone in your body, but the National Domestic Abuse Hotline said in their mother's eyes they can never do wrong. How many women have taken their own lives? How many thousands of women? There was a girl of 19 who took her own life at Elms Avenue. You know, the place I kept away from for my safety before being beaten on Beachy Head after 2 months of self-funding the Citrus Hotel, that place. A 19-year-old girl took her own life. I don't care about that vile creature, the traveller woman who took her own life. I don't care about her. She was vile. A 19-year-old girl took her own life because of domestic abuse. The mother didn't want the boyfriend at the funeral. I think you're all carrying a lot of guilt. A lot of guilt. And you don't like me speaking out about it because exposure is your biggest fear. So either you face that exposure or you hide it. And you let that evil and that darkness grow and grow and fester like mold growing with inside a bad apple. Because there's one thing about me. What you see is what you get. It's coming out now. I've lost all I've had it all taken from me. There's only one way for me to go from here. Or two different ways. A contrast of two extreme ways. You can make or break me. The name you brought me to, Yahweh, you brought me to that name. Gurmit said, oh, and she's your friend of 26 years, is it? You're the one who told him all about Yahweh. No, I didn't. I didn't know. I had an ex-army Jehovah's Witness friend before that. I always said God. You were practically pushing me out of the door before we even became friends, let alone boyfriend and girlfriend, because you said, well, Bryony, you can't argue with the Bible. I made a joke about it. I used to tease you about all these things. I used to laugh about it. And then what did you do? Maybe it wasn't a joke to you. Maybe you can't laugh at yourself. I can laugh at myself. You decided to do these horrible, most wicked things. That is why the UK law now takes domestic abuse very seriously. And I warned you about it a few years ago, but you didn't listen. And you just kept lying to me, saying my mum and dad want to see you and this and that. And I've been going out of my mind because I thought to myself, it can't be. Because either Darren Stuart Webb has either got to be a genuine person with no bad bone in their body. Well, that human being doesn't exist in life. But if he really has been doing what I kind of already know he's been doing, because I've got evidence of it, and so have the police, then that would make him a very dangerous sociopath. And then Leslie Alloway would be right, wouldn't she? I think you don't think you should see Darren anymore. And she said it. She said, I've never known anyone, Bryony, to be banned from the psychiatric unit. But then how would I know? Because I had to explain to her for the umpteenth time, I have got no one. And she said, what, you mean no one? No, no one. And Steve Churchill, your friend Darren, I am disgusted with him. I'm absolutely disgusted. And you aren't. Well, then why would you be? Because anyone who's let me down, you're not angry with them. The staff from Charles Lucas Property Management, they were nice to me to begin with. That idiot who gave me the key to the property, whom I recorded calling me an effing spastic. And they're all out there, these nutcases, all of them. The people who managed the property, all of them. But you don't seem to like the fact that Juliet knows even the housing officer, because she had that housing officer, John Bartlett, for herself. You didn't take it seriously. It's interesting that Charlie was appalled by your behaviour, but then he was just as bad as you. I'm not going to have this conversation with you in person. You hung up on me last night. You hung up on me. So why should I talk to you? Why should I be interested? Why should I? You were the one. If I hadn't have had you arrested and you were shouting down, no, I haven't been arrested before. While I was being assaulted, I had to deal with an idiot 101 call handler. It was Juliet who said to me, Bryony, if he's assaulted you, you've got to call the police. But you think that you're doing what Dan and Tina did. Dan and Tina, the frauds who falsely offered me help from Police Abusing Powers and the Independent Advice Network. You've done nothing, and they know about your abuse. It was at the point when I rang Tina Chave in distress over you assaulting me and abusing me, she decided she didn't want to get another call back, and I needed her help. And I've complained, and then I've had threats from them. Even though she said by law I shouldn't be in these places. So Darren Stuart Webb, because I'm not calling you my partner anymore. Because you're right. Why would I call you my partner? It's just so that when I'm speaking, people will know who I'm talking about. Darren. When I say my partner, they know who I'm talking about. Well, I'll just call you Darren Stuart Webb. Where have you been? Why don't you like? It was Juliet who said, if he assaults you, you've got to call the police. When you were pushing and shoving me, I protected you, like so many women do that with their partners, and why so many women can often end up dead. and why you hear about all these cases, but you didn't take it seriously. You didn't. You've never taken it seriously. And you know what? You know what you've done, because at the start of our relationship, you said, I don't want to add to your problems. Were you kind of showing me a little bit of, are you the devil in disguise? Are you? Because I said to Thurston, I said, how would I know if he's a sociopath? How would you know? Like Dr. Harold Shipman, if people had said, oh, do you think he could be a murderer? What, that bearded doctor, that friendly face? Nah. Murdering his elderly patients? Nah. But you don't think it's believable that when and you really reacted violently down the phone when PC Harriet said you were a knob. He was there when that Reese jumped off Beachy Head. I'm really testing you right now, Darren. The Day of Atonement, you brought me to Yahweh. You brought me. You're the one with the Hebrew Aramaic scriptures. You're not giving me any indication that you are crying and feeling really bad. We had the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the day when you're supposed to really, really cry out and you're terrified of what will happen to you when you die. You don't act like it, Darren. You really don't, and you know what you've done. I don't want this to be what I don't want it to be. I don't want this to be some weird pathic thing. But you know what? Even though my faith is real and genuine, I don't think I'm going to see it through the end of the year. So all those lies about your mum and dad and your mum wanting to see me back in December. And you held the phone out. Listen to her, trying to make me look like I'm mad. You were arrested. DC Kamar said you were released with a caution. I overheard you when, was it PC? No, not PC Upperton, PC. Oh, I can't. I said to you, you came down there. Oh, how nice of you. How nice of you to come down there and check on me. My boyfriend. Down in Holywell, where all the drugs and where someone was murdered down there. Matthew 25. Yeah. Someone was murdered down there, a homeless woman. You left me down there. Why? Because I said what I heard that police officer say on his phone. I heard you say it on his phone. I can't have her in the flat. When I repeated that to you, you screamed, "You're lying! You're lying!" And you started to run away from me. Juliet doesn't understand that behavior, but you think I'm putting too much. You think I'm putting too much of believing in what Juliet says. She's the one who said it was wrong that you weren't giving me the keys to this place before you assaulted me and before you were arrested. And the only reason you'd already had those keys. And while I was on the phone to Karen, this care coordinator, it was then that you whispered, I'm going to go and get the keys cut. You got the keys cut. In a game where you hid the keys and gave them back and messing around to get me stirred up so that you could show the phone and go, listen, mum and dad, this is what she's like. She's nuts. You've played me, you've played everyone, you've played your family, you've played your mother, David and Jill, your siblings. I don't even know them. First time I saw them, one Christmas with them, and I thought I had a family. Shame on you. My Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. In other words, my sinning is my reaction to the typical abuse of women that women get. And I'd had it before you with that bastard who came to my mother's funeral, who started physically abusing me and throwing me out of his flat. But no, that's okay. You're quite happy with this. That's fine. Good on you, Darren. This is why you've got a headache, isn't it? Yeah, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing because they've got their own insecurities. They find one woman, one vulnerable woman. I thought, no one will ever do to me what that bastard Joe Vonderdale did to me. No one will ever do that to me again. I'd lost my soulmate mother. You came along, Darren, and I put all my trust in you. And your mother said, oh, it's like he was sent to you. Oh, I do worry about him. Yes, I can see why she worries about you. Because I'm strong. I'm strong. And you don't like that. And you don't like the fact that I've got Juliet. It's cowardly. So you go on then. You go on. Passion, anger, hurt, pain. But a woman takes so much pain, she ends up with cancer. Shame on you. Shame on you, Darren. Yes, I can do better than you. Juliet's right. It's your loss. Your loss.